How's it going, YouTube? It's Lucas here from DVD205 channel, and today a video on this. What is this? Well, as you can tell, this is a Sears Super Lobo, or a Nikko F10, or a Bison, or literally any other vehicle that is on this chassis. So this is kind of a mess of parts, because when I originally got this thing, it had the electronics in it, and it seemed like it would work. It had a Futaba servo that was hooked in with a 5-wire setup somehow, and it looked pretty bad because the tires were super flat, and like I have some of them still remaining, and it looked used and put on a shelf. But the electronics did not work. It didn't work anymore, so I went through and replaced it with, apparently that didn't want to come up with that, Hobbywing ESC, Futaba receiver, and a Futaba servo. The motor is still stock. As far as I know, this ESC can handle bigger motors, but I think it's plenty fast for what it is right now. I wouldn't be too concerned about putting a bigger motor in there. Well, actually, I'd say bigger motor, but it's a 540 motor. So, faster motor, I should say. Although I could. There is a motor I have not my eye on, but if this ESC can handle it, I would love to put it in here. This receiver is used with this remote. It's a Futaba Magnum Sport. I have been thinking about this remote for a while. I finally got one because I just love how it looks. I think it looks pretty neat, and I really like it. Ideally it would be one of the Futabas or whatever that like has a bunch of buttons and crap down here, but you know, that would be a little overkill for something that can't even use it. So yeah, this thing I got mainly because my step-grandpa, whatever, step-grandfather, I guess, had one of these, and like he still had some of the parts original in bag. Like the shock towers were still in the bag. They're like brand new, and the front bumper even was brand new, which was really nice because both parts were actually needed to complete this thing. Otherwise, everything on here is still original from what it was. I don't think I changed out anything because I don't think there were many parts actually left. There's a bunch of the like packaging, like paper packaging thing, which I have to go over this real quick because it's a cutaway segment. Now see, this would originally be stapled around a bag, and you'd have a bag with the gearbox set, which I would imagine would be everything in the gearbox. But you open it, and excuse the fact that it's burnt because this survived a fire. It shows instructions inside of it. So it's not just a complete waste of packaging. It's useful. Whoops. And considering that this was consumer level of the time, it's nice that it includes how to install the parts, because most people probably wouldn't know that. And can you think of any other RC manufacturer that does this? I mean, in the hobby grade space anyway. Like, that's so cool. I want it. I want more companies that do this. That was actually one of the original ones too, and you can tell it because it's German. So yeah, I still have yet to calibrate the ESC because I completely forgot about it. And the tires are the ones that actually came with the chassis. I'm moving all over the place with this video, but tires are original came with this chassis. They're really bald, and they definitely need new bearings in the front wheels, which, yes, that's how these ones were operated, were bearings in the tires. And then new rear tires because these are completely bald, but these are like still very malleable, so, and very white too. They're nicely not yellowed. Luckily, as I found out too, Tamiya, these have a little adapter in here that goes off of a pin system onto a little 5-bolt setup that matches up with the rim, so it's technically not a pin system, but it is. Either way, it's got a little adapter on here that luckily is the same adapter as Tamiya, and since I have some tires lying around for some reason that are off of a Tamiya Monster Beetle, I think, I can put those tires on here and then get some new front tires that are bigger and make it like the monster truck variants of these. But I don't know. I can probably use some Tamiya tires if I ever come across them. I can just put Tamiya tires on here. Or just 3D print some Tamiya rims, or print some new rims and then put carpet tires on here, because I'd be amazed to see how this thing works around a carpet track. Probably not well, but yeah. So this thing was actually one of the originals that used the 4 AA's as a receiver pack. These are not used currently for anything, although my thought is, since this battery is just for everything, it powers the ESC, it powers the motor, whatever, powers the receiver and powers the ESC off of this. My plan is to use these batteries, which I already have it wired into, and go into this switch to go to spotlights on the cage, and have spotlights that actually function on this vehicle, that are not running off of the original body, or the main battery. So I think that would be kind of neat. I'm probably going to have to work on that. There'll be some 3D printed spotlights and wiring. Good lord. And also taillights might be kind of neat. Just have some red lights back here. So, yeah. Considering that this came from my step-grandfather, whatever, this was the wing that came off of his, and I don't know if he ever had a body with it. The body would be yellow and matching with this. But considering I don't have that, I probably just end up making panels for this that get zip tied around and actually look like the panels, I guess, like a rock bouncer or something, where it's just zip tied around panels, or zip tied on panels. Would just be, I think it would look a lot better than a body, because I think a body looks kind of strange on these type of vehicles. I mean, especially. So, yeah. Otherwise, everything else is mostly original on here. I don't plan to change a whole lot, other than I do have bearings just on the outside of the axle, just because I lost the original bushings, and these probably need actual bearings, so these are going to be upgraded to bearings. Otherwise, that's pretty much about it for the car itself. Everything else after that has to do with the body, or the lack of body. So yeah, that's pretty much about it for all this project. It was a fairly quick one. All it was mainly just an ESC and some receiver and servo that I had laying around. Sadly enough, I had to cut off the ears of these servos just so it would actually fit, because I don't know what type of steering servo would come in there originally, but you know, I would imagine obviously it's kind of like a hobby grade servo, because the steering and throttle was digital proportional on this, I believe, and it is still now digital proportional on the throttle and steering. So yeah, I'll have to finish it up. This is just kind of like a show off of it is like running video. I don't know if I could really do, but you know, this is how this thing is now hobby grade technically. So yeah, that's about it. Lucas out. Bye, YouTube.